if you get a call, there's some things I think you should do right away, especially if the child has been seriously injured. I suggest you get an investigator out right away, get witness statements, get the scene secure if you need to, and we'll go into that in detail in a moment. But oftentimes insurance companies, potentially jurors, look at a child, especially young children, and say, well, I really don't believe, is it credible what this child says? So it's very important, especially in any personal injury case, but especially in a child situation, to get independent witnesses. Have your investigator go out to the scene, find as many people who might have seen what occurred as possible. Oftentimes, we'll secure the scene if it's a situation, for instance, where a child is injured, maybe in a defective escalator, elevator, or on a premises. You want to go to court immediately, have the judge enter a protective order. We've been successful in having judges enter orders, securing a scene, getting an expert, whether it's an engineer or a safety expert, on the scene as soon as possible to preserve any potential evidence, to make sure that a potentially defective product is maintained, preserved, so that your expert can take a look and we can find out what really happened. I would also suggest that if it's a car accident, there's a potential defendant who might have injured your client. I would suggest getting all the information, insurance information, get a statement from him if he'll give it, as soon as possible. I'd recommend that you tell your client not to talk to the insurance company. Insurance adjusters are trained to take statements so they help their insured, not to help your client. Another thing that is important to keep in mind is, are you representing the right person? You can get a call from a parent, and the parent could be divorced or separated, and the other spouse has already started legal action. So you want to make sure you have the right party before you start working, and potentially work together with the other lawyer to make sure that the child's interests are protected. If the police did not come to the scene, for instance, in a car crash, you might want to get a police report, get that reported right away, get that done as soon as possible. It's also very important, if the child is seriously injured, to make sure that they get the proper medical care. I think as an attorney, your job is to make sure that your client's rights are protected, and getting the proper medical care, I think, is part of our job, to make sure that a child is taken care of, gets the right medical treatment. That's important for the child, not let alone the case, but definitely to preserve any kind of potential damage claim down the road. There's many areas of law that I'm sure many of you practice that would be outside my expertise, and I think it's important to recognize something that is a case that you should seek a lawyer who has more experience, who does this all the time. I think it's important, especially when you're dealing with a child who can't make their own decisions about their legal rights, and a case that can affect them the rest of their lives. It's important to have the proper legal representation. So I would get an attorney who's experienced, who's done many of these cases, involved right away. Just keep in mind, it's precious cargo. And on another note, we can, to prevent these from happening in the first place, we've started a child safety blog. Feel free to visit the Safest Line blog, and it deals with how to prevent injuries, product recalls, safety tips, and parents could use the Safest Line to make sure that they don't have to call a lawyer in the first place. Thank you for your time.